Wondered why Australia is the only country in the world that ignores the United Nations Day dedicated to fighting racism and has replaced it with a day dedicated to pretending that we live in a harmonious multicultural society? Well, every 21st of March, the United Nations and the world, except for us, commemorate the International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination. But in Australia, we celebrate Harmony Day instead. Most of us know it as a day where we celebrate living in a harmonious multicultural society. There are festivals and events, people bringing plates of food in for morning teas, and wearing something orange, which apparently is the colour of harmony, I'm guessing? But why are we the only country doing this? Well, in 1999, John Howard, who was our Prime Minister at the time, really didn't like it when people talked about Australia being a racist country. He refused to talk about a treaty with Aboriginal people, often saying that a country cannot make a treaty with itself, ignoring all of the countries that already have treaties with Indigenous peoples. He referred to any acknowledgement of historical atrocities and injustices committed against First Nations peoples as a black armband view of history, and he also rejected the idea that Australia should apologise for the stolen generations. So Howard, in his infinite wisdom, created Harmony Day in the hope that instead of talking about racism and committing ourselves to eliminating racial discrimination, we'd forget about all of that and just celebrate that we already live in a harmonious multicultural society. And that's how Australia became the only country on Earth to replace the International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination with Harmony Day. And it's easy enough to blame John Howard for kicking it off, but 2 decades later and we still haven't changed it back. But what is the International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination? Well, it commemorates the 1960 Sharpeville massacre, where police in Sharpeville, South Africa, opened fire on a peaceful protest against apartheid, killing at least 91 people, injuring approximately 281 others. That atrocity led to the Declaration on the Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination in 1963 and has been commemorated annually across the globe since 1966. Australia's commitment to that declaration is one of the main reasons why we even have the 1975 Racial Discrimination Act in the first place. It's a day to stop and pay respect to the victims of the Sharpeville massacre, to all those who have died fighting against racism before and since. It's a day to reflect on how we and the rest of the international community are doing at the crucial task of eliminating racial discrimination. What Harmony Day misses, what it intentionally avoids, is any real discussion and tangible action towards an actually harmonious multicultural society, something we can only achieve by eliminating racial discrimination. Both Harmony Day and the International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination are meant to be days of peace. But Harmony Day represents a desire for a negative peace, which is the absence of tension, whereas the International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination represents a commitment to a positive peace, which is the presence of justice. Harmony Day is the political equivalent of wanting to eat your dessert without eating your veggies first.